Speed, precision, and control. Those are things that win medals. And that's also stuff that we chase as photographers. So today we will be testing the new NIKKOR Z 70 to 200mm f2.8 VR-S2. And as you can see, we have built a mock winter game style photo shoot today. We will be testing it out with dramatic lighting, and this is really going to show us if this lens can win gold. Now, one of my favorite things about this lens is how light it is. This is 26% lighter than its first generation, as well as more balanced and shorter. Now, this is especially good whenever you're tracking athletes, or in this case, moving models and moving subjects. So now, one of my favorite things about this lens is the constant 2.8 aperture throughout the zoom range, which makes it so that whenever I'm zooming in, 70 to 200 and I'm moving around, I don't actually need to change my settings because everything is already set up for the 2.8. Now, all of that sounds great, but specifically when you're doing long shoots like this, sometimes you have a lot of lights to move around and you have settings to change. When you can skip a step and you don't have to change settings consistently, it just helps ease your mind and you can focus on shooting and focus on getting great images. Now let's talk about autofocus, because in this scenario, that's everything. And the way we're gonna test it out today is we're gonna have our model in front of a backlight, as well as a little bit of atmosphere spray, which is gonna create a little bit of mist between the lens and the subject. Now normally this case scenario would be really hard for a lot of lenses. However, with the new Silky Swift voice coil motor, this lens has no trouble keeping up. The lens is 3.5 times faster at focusing than before, and it is also 40% faster while zooming in and out. Let's test it out. So now we're gonna try some portraits at 200mm just to show you the compression and how nice it looks. And one of the coolest things about this lens is how close you can also focus at 200mm with a close distance of 31.5 inches. Look how close we can get. Now the updated optics on this lens make it so that when it's wide open, it is still sharp edge to edge. So let's shoot some detail shots at 2.8, show you what that 11 blade diaphragm really does with the bokeh, get a little bit of subject separation, and just show you how pretty the photos come at 2.8. Now, even though we're super close to that backdrop, you can still see all that separation, which even though the backdrop looks like it's a really cheap printout, it still makes the photo look high quality because the bokeh just separates it that much, makes it seem a little more real. Nikon clearly built this for working photographers. You got two function buttons right where your hand naturally sits, as well as two focus preset buttons on top of the lens as well. We also have an Arca Swiss compatible tripod foot, which you can also remove, which is pretty neat. So we're gonna take a couple more photos and then pass it off to Nick so he can tell us a little bit more about video.
So while the 70 to 200 might be a photography focused lens first and foremost, we did still want to put it through its paces a little bit with video just to kind of see what you're getting with it. And kind of like Juan was saying, a lot of the performance that really helps with photography translates to video as well. You're getting that f2.8 constant aperture throughout the focal range, which is great for low light performance. You're getting an internally zooming lens, which is also great. It means if you're putting it on a gimbal, you don't have to worry about rebalancing it as much. And the lens is very lightweight. I really wish I had the first generation to kind of compare the two. And there's a lot of thoughtful touches. Like especially here, like with the lens hood, this is kind of what Nikon did for their 28 to 135, where if you have like an ND filter, let's say, you can adjust it very easily here without taking the lens hood off. And we also wanted to test the autofocus performance on the video side of things as well, because that, not just VCM, that Silky Swift VCM motor means that autofocus performance is very snappy. And focus breathing is also really suppressed on this lens. We tried to kind of do like a little focus pull test, and we were really impressed with how it looks. And if you look at that focus pull test, actually, you can kind of see the secondary thing we were able to test which was if we could use the optical quality and the compression you're getting on this lens to make this very fake looking backdrop that we bought kind of last minute look realistic in our fake space. We kind of had this initial plan to keep the illusion going with a snow machine. That did not work. However, as long as you also have a crew of like 3 or 4 other people who can stand off screen and just chuck snow at your talent, you can kind of really complete the illusion. Granted, you might need several people to do that, but just with this lens alone, you can get very good results and make your fake backdrop look pretty convincing. And another thing that's really helpful about this lens from a video shooting standpoint is the 6 stops of vibration reduction you're getting on this guy. I was able to handhold at 200 millimeters and focus on my subject's face and get very stable looking footage that didn't have those micro jitters you get on a small body like the Nikon ZR. All of this is just kind of a long-winded way of saying you're probably gonna get this lens as a photographer first and foremost, but if you are a true hybrid shooter and need some video performance as well, this lens won't let you down. It's very well rounded.
So overall, the NIKKOR Z70 to 200mm f2.8 VRS2 is not just an update. This is the lens for somebody who's going around taking photos in the wild, doing sporting events, doing wildlife photography. If you need precision and you need fast focus, this lens is for you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to let us know down below what you thought. As always, my name is Juan Pablo, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Let's talk about paying for your gear. And what better way than by using the B&H Paybu credit card? Save even more with the B&H Paybu credit card. When you use the Paybu card, you pay the tax and B&H pays you back instantly, or get 6 or 12 months special financing. Applying is easy and you can use your new Paybu credit card right away. For more details or to apply, visit bhphoto.com/paybu.